Nathaniel Crawford was a man who had spent decades mastering the art of control. Control over his vast empire of businesses, control over boardrooms filled with powerful figures who deferred to his every word, and control over his carefully curated public image as a billionaire success story. Yet on this particular evening, none of those things mattered. Here he sat in a small, worn-down diner on the edge of the city, far away from the gleaming towers that bore his name. The diner's fluorescent lights buzzed faintly overhead, and the air was thick with the scent of brewing coffee and frying bacon, a world apart from the polished marble and leather chairs Nathaniel was accustomed to. Beside him was his son, Ethan, a 10-year-old boy whose bright eyes betrayed a sharp intelligence despite the physical limitations imposed by cerebral palsy. Ethan's wheelchair was parked close to their booth, his hands resting quietly in his lap, occasionally fidgeting, with a small toy Nathaniel had brought along. For years, Nathaniel had lived in a protective bubble around Ethan, investing in the best therapies, technologies, and specialists, but the boy's world was still confined, limited by the invisible barriers that society and disability had erected. He had often wondered if Ethan ever truly felt free, if he ever experienced the unbridled joy that other children seemed to take for granted. This evening, with its soft rock music humming from the old jukebox and the comforting murmur of casual conversations, offered a rare opportunity for something different, something unexpected. Nathaniel's gaze drifted around the diner, taking in the faces of the people scattered at tables, the clatter of plates, and the waitress who moved among them with effortless grace. Jasmine was her name. He had noticed her before, of course, but tonight something about her stood out. She was black, young, and her smile radiated warmth and confidence in a way that made the whole place feel alive. There was no pretension in her manner, only a genuine kindness that seemed to touch everyone she passed. When Jasmine approached their table, Nathaniel noticed the way she knelt down to meet Ethan's gaze, speaking softly and patiently, as though she was speaking to a friend rather than a customer with special needs. "Would you like to dance when the music plays?" she asked, her voice gentle but inviting. Ethan's eyes widened, a blush creeping onto his cheeks as he nodded shyly. It was a moment so simple, yet profound, an invitation to participate, to lead, to be seen as more than his disability. When the jukebox crackled to life, filling the diner with an old soulful tune, Jasmine reached out a steady hand and helped Ethan to stand. She supported him carefully, matching his tentative movements with encouragement and smiles. Nathaniel's heart pounded as he watched the transformation unfold. The boy who usually struggled to find his footing was now swaying, laughing, and leading the dance with a spark in his eyes that Nathaniel had rarely witnessed before. Around them, the diner's patrons paused to watch, their expressions softening in admiration and surprise. It was not just a dance, it was a breakthrough, a reclaiming of joy that had long eluded Ethan and, by extension, Nathaniel himself. The moment shattered years of fear and doubt, replacing them with hope and a newfound understanding of courage and acceptance. That small dance in this unassuming diner was the beginning of a journey, one that would challenge Nathaniel's preconceptions, change the way he viewed his son, and ultimately transform the way he lived his life. Nathaniel couldn't get that night out of his mind. The way Ethan's eyes had shone as Jasmine had gently helped him lead that dance, the genuine joy lighting up his son's face in a way Nathaniel had never seen before, despite all the medical interventions and therapies he had invested in over the years. That simple act of kindness, that willingness to see Ethan as a boy capable of leading rather than just a child needing to be protected, shattered something inside Nathaniel. In the days that followed, the memory replayed endlessly, stirring a restlessness and a quiet reckoning. He realized he had been so focused on controlling every aspect of Ethan's care, ensuring his safety and progress in clinical terms, that he had overlooked what Ethan truly craved, a sense of freedom, belonging, and human connection. More than the best doctors or the most advanced technology, Ethan needed spaces where he could be himself without judgment or limits. This awakening drove Nathaniel to reach out to Jasmine, who welcomed the invitation with warmth and enthusiasm. Together, They launched a community initiative to create inclusive recreational programs designed not just for children with disabilities, but for all children, fostering environments where differences were celebrated and every child's potential could flourish. Nathaniel found himself immersed in a world he had never known, a world of families and children whose resilience and spirit humbled him and taught him new ways to see beyond wealth and status. Jasmine's courage and compassion were constant, reminders that real leadership required empathy and a willingness to listen deeply, to learn from those whose experiences were so different from his own. With her guidance, Nathaniel began to shed the layers of privilege and protectionism he had wrapped around himself and his son, opening his heart to the transformative power of inclusion and love. This mission became his new purpose, one that transcended profit margins and boardroom victories, embracing the profound impact of human connection and the courage to change. Nathaniel's transformation deepened over the following months, evolving from a distant protective provider into a father who found genuine joy in every small milestone Ethan achieved. He began to attend the dance classes where Jasmine volunteered, witnessing firsthand the incredible progress his son made as he learned to move with a newfound grace and confidence that defied his physical limitations. These moments away from sterile therapy rooms and clinical charts brought laughter, warmth, and hope into their relationship, forging a bond that transcended the clinical management Nathaniel had so long relied upon. Inspired by Jasmine's dedication and Ethan's resilience, Nathaniel felt compelled to reflect these values in every aspect of his life, including the vast business empire he controlled. Under his leadership, his company embraced accessibility and inclusion as core priorities, initiating policies and programs that set new standards in corporate social responsibility and workplace culture. Jasmine's story of compassion and courage spread throughout the organization, igniting a movement that went beyond philanthropy to foster genuine cultural change, a shift in mindset that valued diversity and the empowerment of individuals with disabilities. Nathaniel, once defined by his wealth and strategic prowess, now understood that true success was measured not in dollars, but in the positive impact on human lives. He felt humbled and grateful for the profound lessons Ethan and Jasmine had imparted, lessons about vulnerability, strength, and the power of empathy. The legacy Nathaniel sought to build was no longer merely about business dominance, but about creating a more inclusive world where compassion led the way, and every person's potential was honored and celebrated. In the grand hall adorned with shimmering lights and elegantly draped banners, bearing the emblem of the foundation, the air was thick with emotion and anticipation as families, supporters, and dignitaries gathered to celebrate the remarkable achievements of children who had been given new opportunities through Nathaniel Crawford and Jasmine's tireless efforts. Their journey from a simple, unexpected dance in a modest diner to this momentous gala, a testament to the power of compassion and community. The room buzzed with murmurs of admiration and hope, the clinking of glasses punctuating heartfelt conversations as everyone awaited the highlight of the evening, the appearance of Ethan, Nathaniel's son, whose transformation had become emblematic of the Foundation's mission to redefine what was possible for children with disabilities. As the spotlight softened and the music began, a soulful melody that echoed the resilience and joy of the human spirit, Ethan was carefully wheeled onto the stage by Jasmine, whose confident smile radiated pride and encouragement, embodying the very essence of the movement they had sparked together. Taking Jasmine's hand with a mixture of determination and excitement, Ethan rose from his wheelchair, standing tall despite the physical challenges that had once constrained him, and began to lead the dance with a grace and confidence that left the audience breathless, every step a powerful declaration of perseverance and hope. Nathaniel, standing among the crowd, felt tears well up as he watched his son shine, not in spite of his disability, but because of the love, courage, and unwavering support that surrounded him, a love that had broken down barriers, challenged societal limitations, and opened hearts to the true potential within every individual. The dance was more than a simple act of movement. It was a vivid celebration of humanity's capacity for growth, acceptance, and transformation, a moment that crystallized the profound impact of kindness and inclusion. As the music swelled, the applause thundered through the hall, affirming the journey that had begun in a small diner years before and had blossomed into a powerful movement touching lives, far beyond what Nathaniel had ever imagined. In that moment, he knew his world and the world of so many others had changed forever. A change born from a single act of generosity that had rewritten a lifetime and promised to inspire generations to come, proving that sometimes all it takes to create monumental change is the courage to see someone's true worth and the willingness to dance with them through life's challenges.